Hey guys, welcome back to another Airbnb video. I've had loads of people commenting, asking me about we're struggling to get our first unit. How do we go about? Obviously, these are people just watching free content in my channel, many other people's channel, and I thought, do you know what? When we looked around, nobody's actually sat down and really broken down in terms of understanding how you're going to secure property and kind of the process between what's involved in offering, the viewings, follow up, phone calls, and all that kind of stuff. So my channel's always been about understanding what I've gone through with my clients. And over the years, I've spoken to many clients, worked with many people, and they all have one similar problem is we've had issue trying to find our first deal. What I want to do today, if you're new to this channel, look, I want to sit down, break this down, make sure you watch it till the very end. It kind of gives you all the process in place, and once you start following this process for your business and your investment, you could be secure block. It's exactly the same process. You might only want to secure one unit first. It's exactly the same process, guys. So let's crack on with it. And one thing I'd like to ask is, let me know in comment down below, why do you watch my channel and what exactly do you like about the channel? And yeah, let's straight go into the video. So right, let's start with what we're trying to do here. We're trying to secure a property, right? So guys, for you, it doesn't matter where you are, Dubai, Australia, US, some part of Asian country that you watch my video from, and even in the UK, because obviously my clients, 90% of my clients are based in the UK. So securing a property could be one. So let's go with one unit, right? You want to secure first unit. Now, to be able to secure your first unit, ideally you want to put one offer in, right? So if you think about offering, ideally, I always say to my short-term rental mastermind clients is, try and see if you can offer on 2 or 3 units, because over the last 5 years, one thing I've understood about our industry is when you're doing offering, by the time you offer, is the legal going to be fully compliant? Are you, some of the agents in the UK, they don't understand fully referencing side of a new company, and then having guarantors in place. Whatever reason, you might not be able to secure that unit. So, I've seen it again and again. I've gone through in my journey with sourcing and stuff. You must understand, the more you offer, the more likely you've got an option to sit down and say, well, that doesn't work really well, or, you might have a lease that doesn't allow you to do holiday let in that block. So even though you've done all that viewings, but then you come into offering and you ask that question about, would the lease allow you to do short-term rental and holiday let? They might turn around and say no, so which means you've not, although you've gone through there, which is the offer, you're not going to secure that unit, are you? So ideally you want to put two units offer, just gives you up and going, and obviously you've got 2 different options. You can take 2 if you like, if both goes well. And one of the things again, this is something that with my experience I've learned, when you're doing offering to securing the unit, legal comes in place, which is the legal agreement. Now in the UK, if you're working with letting agent, you use what you call a company let agreement from the letting agent. Sometimes, and again with the experience over the last 5 years, letting agents sometimes do not want to change their letting agency contract, which means you won't be able to secure that unit in the right way. Look, I've seen loads of people doing it, and I've said, let me have a look at your contract, and they're like, look, Piers, I've signed this, and I'm like, look, it's not the right contract, because there's some clause in the contract that doesn't fit the holiday let and the service accommodation model, although it's a company let. So by doing that, so for that reason, I think there's numbers of reasons why I say you need to offer on 2 units. Now you think about viewing, right? So for you to be able to offer on 2 units, you can ideally just view 2 properties. But in my case, what I would like to say is you want to double up the viewing. So at least you've got to have 4 units viewed, or 4 properties, right? Why? Because when you go into 2 of those properties, you know what, I generally, when you go into viewings, I always say to our clients, how would your guests react to it when they come outside the building? How easy can they access to the building? How easy can they get into the property? Obviously, if you've got a house you're doing, it's completely different, but little things like that you need to understand with viewing. It might not go the way you want to. So having that 4 properties viewed, you'll have 50% conversion rate, right? Come down here. And then ideally you want to have 100% or 50% success rate to secure that unit. So guys, I hope you're understanding. I'm going backwards to be able to, for you to understand how many phone calls or how many follow-ups or how many closes you've got to do. Now, look, for me, viewing, is a close, right? What you want to close that viewing. One of the things I've seen in our industry is a lot of people don't ask to close. Now, I'm a massive fan of follow-up. Don't get me wrong. I've done a video. You can go check on my channel. I talk about follow-ups a lot with letting agents and how if the agent says no in the call, you can then do a follow-up via an email and kind of give you an opportunity to explain them everything, right? So look, go and check that email. Like it's really simple. You can copy that, use it into your journey. But follow-up, I want to talk massive about follow-ups. So for you to be able to secure 4 units, right? And depending on obviously the more phone calls you make, the more experience you're going to get. But how many follow-ups do you need? Now, personally, if you want to secure 4 units and you're starting and it's your first journey, I'm looking around at least 12 follow-ups with agents or landlord, right? Why? Because once you do a follow-up, once you've secured that follow-up after you've made that phone call, the likely chances are half of them might turn around and say to you, well, Piers, actually, or we don't want to do company let, or landlords have decided that that's not the fit. So for me, if you do 12 follow-up, you're more likely to have 4 units viewed. Obviously, sometimes you might have, like one of my client Rahil right now in Mastermind Community, he's managed to get that, I think in a day he had 11 phone calls and he managed to secure one with one agent, two units, and not secure it but view it. So sometimes you might have one agent saying, actually, you've got 3 properties that they can view you. But for me, if you do 12 follow-ups with the agent or landlord, which is follow-ups in case of, for me, is an email that goes into their inbox explaining everything you guys do about your property, or about your service, and then you're more likely to convert 4 of them and viewing. Now it comes to phone calls. Now, this is where the game starts. If you want to do 12 follow-ups, now in this case, we're saying 12 individual follow-ups. If you make phone calls, 12 phone calls, are you going to get every single agent or landlord's email, or is the agent going to turn around and say, hey, no, we don't do company let? So for me, this is a crucial part. So for you to do 12, loads of people will come, to my channel, they go, Piers, I'm frustrated, I'm not getting through that letting agent goals or landlord goals. And I'm like, well, listen, how many phone calls have you made? Because initially, that conversation can be difficult. And here is the process. The phone call, for me, if you want to do at least 12 follow-up and it's your first few months of doing it, easily I would again go on 20% rate, or 25% conversion. So you need to make 48 phone calls where I'm talking about 25% rate, conversion rate, of you being able to having that follow-up process. So again, if you haven't done that 48 phone calls, which again, look, it might sound a lot, and there's a technique that we use in Short-Term Rent Mastermind where you can get that done very, very quickly. But yeah, quite an interesting part of what you can see numbers-wise. You've got 48 phone calls that you're going to make, right? Pick up Rightmove, Zoopla if you're in the UK, or whatever platform you use around the world. Then you've got follow-up where you're speaking to the landlord and the agent and say, look, we're looking to view, but they might turn around and say, okay, well, send us an email, or you've told them you're going to send them an email. The chances are out 48, 12 might say yes, or to be honest with you, with my clients, they generally have 50% follow-up, which is, if you made 48 phone calls, then you'll have 24 people or agents saying, yes, send us a follow-up email. Then you've got close. You need to understand viewing. If they agree to something and then say, yeah, landlord's okay to do that, you want to secure viewing. Out of 12, we've gone with 4 units, which is quite great if you can view 4 properties. Out of that, you like to, or you prefer to, or whatever reason, the agent might say, no, actually, we don't want to work with you. You've got 2 units available, and then the chances are, you've got, if it's your first unit, you're going to secure 1 unit. If it's, if you want to secure both, you can go about securing both the units. So guys, look, a little bit of process in place. Let me know where you are right now in your journey and where are you. I mean, most people, I can tell you today, that is where they get stuck in, follow-up and the viewing. Because without this process, you're not going to get into the offer. But also without the yes, you can get into a phone call and get into viewings, but they're more likely landlords and agents just asking you a lot of questions, which is for me a follow-up, because if I do a follow-up, it's easier for me to communicate, tell them everything I do, and then yeah, as a result of that, it's a lot easier. So guys, I hope you enjoyed another Grow Your B&B video. This was just kind of an example on what I'm going through right now with some of our clients. Also some of our actually Grow Your B&B clients, because when we're launching property for clients, they've probably done mentorship somewhere else, they've come back, work with us, because all we do is we launch properties, we do the marketing, branding, because it's not just about securing this unit, it's not about this process, it's also about how do you go about securing that big bookings or launch property in the right way with a 7 nights minimum strategy, making profit rather than nightly rate. But yeah, that's something that I've covered a lot in my channel. So guys, I hope you enjoyed another Grow Your B&B video. Please make sure you hit that like, subscribe and share, and I'll be back with another video soon.